I noticed it the moment I came to the school.
Tulane institution is very interested in improving the diversity of its faculty and staff and students.
Tulane boasts that its class of 2017 is one of its most diverse groups yet, being composed of students from 45 different states and 19 foreign countries. While it is evident that Tulane is geographically diverse, the same cannot necessarily be said for other facets of diversity. The Caucasian population at Tulane makes up about 66% of the student body, while the African American, Asian, as well as Hispanic portions of the population all fall well below 10%. Even with a simple walk around campus, the lack of ethnic diversity is extremely apparent.
Oh, I think it's definitely ironic that that Tulane is just kind of a little white patch and a mixing pot of or melting pot of different cultures.
I think a lot of the diversity you experience from the New Orleans community happens off campus and not in uptown New Orleans.
The lack of racial diversity is big, but it's more of the socioeconomic one that's more of an impact for me.
One of the issues in student diversity for racial and ethnic minorities probably has to do with economics. And so if you look at the wealth of your typical Caucasian family versus the wealth of an African American family, there's a substantial difference in that. And that's also looking at your recruitment practices. If you have recruiters, and I'm not saying that we're doing this, but if you have recruiters who are only going to those areas where they're predominantly not minorities, then it's going to be difficult for you to recruit. I mean, it's just like recruiting the best athlete. You got to get out there and do the work.
The university has to look at what that's causing the lack of diversity, and I think that we really have to look at the students that the university actually does admit.
I think Tulane emphasizes geographical diversity to an extraordinary amount, and not necessarily that they advertise ethnic diversity, but that they don't really mention it when promoting the school.
People don't realize how much of a problem the lack of diversity really is, because we are the generation that's attending these schools and then will later go into the professional world.
One of the things that I think the institution does well but could do better is it's the Office of Multicultural Affairs.
But you do have to really seek out the opportunities for multicultural affairs at Tulane. They're not necessarily everywhere around campus.
Part of the reason Tulane sometimes gets a bad rap within New Orleans because people are always like, oh, Tulane, those white kids from the north, they don't know what they're doing coming in and doing service, and maybe to a point they're right a little bit.
I think the students have a strong voice and they need to be more upfront about what they want. I really do. I believe the student government needs to take a role, Greek life, the student body as a whole needs to say this is something that's really important to us, and we're going to communicate that consistently to the administration.
But definitely more administrative and Tulane's recruiting methods. Although voice needs to come from the students to push the administration towards that.
Just creating awareness at just one single university will impact the country positively, because these are students that are going to go and do things and work with several other people.
The future of Tulane's diversity is uncertain, and the actions of not only the administration but the student body will determine whether or not this issue will improve. With many changes underway for the university, as well as a new president, one can only hope that meaningful action will be taken. However, only time will tell.